Before we delve into a study of personality psychology, let's do a personality test. Using your mobile device, proceed to the following link and complete the test. Now that you have taken the test, consider the following questions. What is your 4-letter type personality? Does this affirm your ideas about your personality, or does this surprise you? Why is being self-aware, specifically your personality, important? The following is an example of the results of the personality test. As you can see, the person has scored as an introvert, intuitive, feeling, judging type. Once scored, the personality test also offers a more detailed description of your personality type, as well as applications for the same. Were these applications ones you also considered when thinking about why being self-aware is important? The test you just did was one developed in part by Carl Jung. Carl Gustav Jung is easily one of the more fascinating psychologists, specifically his pioneering efforts in the field of personality psychology. To begin, let's take a look at Jung's life. Jung was born in 1875 in Switzerland. As a child, he was described as being quiet and observant, and perhaps this solitude was instrumental in shaping his later work. His mother, who was affected by mental illness and left her son when he was a toddler to seek treatment, was probably an additional influential factor in Jung's motivation to pursue the field of psychology. Jung, through his many observations, stretches beyond the field of psychology into art, culture, religion, and literature. He recognized that we are shaped by more than what is inside us, and in doing so, he pushed past the limitations of the psychology of the time to develop a multifaceted picture of the human being. Jung sought to facilitate a conversation with the unconscious energies which are within us. He added many ideas to the field of psychology, such as complex, archetype, persona, shadow, anima and animus, personality typology, dream interpretation, individuation, and several others. He had a deep appreciation of our creative life and considered spirituality a central part of the human journey. Jung studied at the University of Zurich, where he worked on staff at the Brogolsli Asylum and observed patients with mental illness. Through this work, he developed the concept that human beings often suffer from complex conditions. Jung worked with Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis. He challenged Freud's ideas that our unconscious is founded primarily on our neuroses around our sexuality. Jung's first analysis of personality was the conception of two types of people, introverts and extroverts. Through his early work with patients at the Brogolsli Hospital, Jung and his colleague Eugen Bleuler found a way to understand the behaviors, beliefs, and narratives of their patients, coming up with a diagnostic category called schizophrenia. Jung was fascinated by what he saw within the delusional ideas of his patients, leading him to explore the symbols and experiences of the unconscious directly in himself. This led to a new view of psychosis as representing direct experiences with unconscious forces, dynamics, and symbolic images. These same forces, in Jung's view, were active in all human beings and served as the energies and patterns through which an individual's psychological experience of life would be molded. The schizophrenic patient was different from others only in the sense that the person's ego, or sense of I, was relatively weakened in relation to the other dynamic entities within the unconscious. In a schizophrenic, the products of the unconscious are often disturbing and beyond rationality. As a result, the ego becomes fragmented and one becomes alienated from him or herself. Carl Jung's work has had far-reaching implications not only in the field of psychology but also religion, art, and pop culture. David Bowie, his stage name itself signifying a persona, consciously chose an other personality which he could use to inhabit and explore alternate realities. Bowie was aware of Jung's psychological concepts, and he used his artwork to give life and expression to the ideas, concepts, and feelings which emerged from his own unconscious. As a true artist, his work is not reducible to logical explanations, but at its best works to give expressions to symbols and images, such as musical notes and textures, words, costumes, and staging, thereby creating a spiritual experience for those who are moved by his work. Carl Jung has contributed much to the field of psychology, and we will end this video with a reading of an excerpt from his famous The Red Book.
My soul, where are you? Do you hear me? I speak. I call you. Are you there? I have returned. I am here again. I have shaken the dust of all the lands from my feet, and I have come to you. I am with you. After long years of long wandering, I have come to you again. Should I tell you everything I have seen, experienced, and drunk in? Or do you not want to hear about all the noise of life and the world? But one thing you must know, the one thing I have learned, is that one must live this life. This life is the way, the long sought after way to the unfathomable, which we call divine. There is no other way. All other ways are false paths. I found the right way. It led me to you, to my soul. I return, tempered and purified. Do you still know me? How long the separation lasted. Everything has become so different. And how did I find you? How strange my journey was. What words should I use to tell you on what twisted paths a good star has guided me to you? Give me your hand, my almost forgotten soul. How warm the joy at seeing you again, you long disavowed soul. Life has led me back to you. Let us thank the life I have lived for all the happy and all the sad hours, for every joy, for every sadness. My soul, my journey should continue with you. I will wander with you and ascend to my solitude.